The vast emptiness of space stretched out like a dark canvas, punctuated by distant stars and floating debris. The Crimson Talon drifted silently, its sleek metal hull reflecting pinpricks of starlight. Captain J. Park stood at the main viewing window, his weathered hands clasped behind his back. Suddenly, a faint blip caught First Officer Hai Kim's attention. Her fingers danced across the holographic control panel, zooming in on a small object tumbling through the void. "Captain," she called out, her voice steady but urgent, "we've got something." Jay approached the screen, his eyes narrowing. The object was an escape pod, barely larger than a human coffin, its exterior scarred and battered. Most ships would have ignored it. Most crews would have continued their journey. But something about this pod felt different. "Bring it in," Jay commanded. The ship's mechanical arms extended, carefully capturing the damaged pod and pulling it into the secondary airlock. Seung, the weapons specialist, stood nearby, his hand unconsciously resting on his sidearm. Years of space travel had taught them to be cautious. As the airlock hissed and equalized pressure, Hai ran initial scans. "Life signs detected," she reported. "One occupant, alien physiology. Vital signs are weak but stable." The pod's hatch creaked, open. Inside lay a creature unlike anything they had encountered before. Her skin was a pale blue, almost translucent, with delicate iridescent markings that seemed to shimmer even in the dim light. Intricate metallic bands adorned her wrists, suggesting she was more than just a random traveler. "A princess," Jay muttered, recognizing the distinctive markings of high-ranking alien royalty. She stirred slightly, her large eyes, a deep purple with flecks of silver, flickering open. Fear and exhaustion were etched into her features. When she saw the humans, she didn't react with terror as many alien species might. Instead, there was a strange mixture of hope and resignation. "You're safe," Hai said softly, approaching with a medical scanner. "We're not going to harm you." The princess tried to speak, but only a raspy sound emerged. Seung brought her a small container of water, which she accepted with trembling hands. Jay studied her carefully. Something had happened. Something big enough to leave a royal alien alone and abandoned in the middle of nowhere. Her escape pod showed signs of multiple weapon strikes, and the emergency systems were barely functional. "What's your name?" he asked. "Aria," she whispered. "Princess of the Calarian Diplomatic Corps." Before she could say more, the ship's alarm systems blared to life. Multiple vessels had just entered their sensor range, moving with clear aggressive intent. "We've got company," Seung announced, already moving to battle stations. Chai quickly ran additional scans. 3 unknown vessels, weapons charged. They're definitely searching for something or someone. Jay's eyes met Arya's. In that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. Whatever trouble she was running from, the humans were now involved. "Prepare for potential combat," Jay ordered. "Hai, get our guest somewhere safe. Seung, arm the defensive systems." The ship hummed with energy, its human crew moving with practiced efficiency. Arya watched, a mix of wonder and fear crossing her delicate features. She had been abandoned by her own people, left to die in the cold emptiness of space. And now, inexplicably, these humans were preparing to fight for her. As the unknown vessels drew closer, Captain J. Park allowed himself a small, dangerous smile. Whatever was coming, the Crimson Talon was ready. The 3 alien vessels closed in, their sharp, angular designs cutting through the darkness of space like predatory sharks. Each ship represented a different faction, cold, calculated, and determined to eliminate their target. Aboard the Crimson Talon, Princess Arya watched in silent tension. Hai Kim's fingers flew across the communication systems, decoding fragments of encrypted transmissions. What she discovered made her blood run cold. "They want her dead," Hai whispered to Jay. "Not just captured, completely eliminated." Seung had already positioned the ship's weapon systems. Unlike most vessels that relied on energy-based weapons, the Crimson Talon carried a unique arsenal, a mix of traditional and experimental human weaponry that made it unpredictable. The first attack came suddenly. A pulse of energy sliced through space, targeting the Crimson Talon's port side. Most ships would have been instantly disabled, but human engineering was different. The ship's adaptive shield absorbed the impact, barely showing a scratch. Returning. Fire, Seung announced, his voice calm and controlled. A series of rapid-fire projectiles burst from the Crimson Talon. They weren't standard energy blasts, but intelligent micromissiles that could detect and exploit the smallest weaknesses in alien ship designs. The first pursuing vessel suddenly found its navigation systems compromised, spinning wildly out of control. Arya watched in amazement. Her own people's ships would have responded with massive energy cannons. These humans used something more strategic. "Who are you people?" she asked Jay. The captain didn't look away from the battle. "We're survivors," he responded simply. The second alien ship launched a more sophisticated attack. Quantum entanglement weapons designed to tear apart molecular structures began targeting the Crimson Talon. Most ships would have been instantly destroyed. But humans had learned to adapt. Chai activated a specialized interference field. The quantum weapons harmlessly dissipated, their complex energy patterns scrambled and neutralized. "Target locked," Seung called out. Another set of missiles launched. These were different, designed to infiltrate and destroy from within. They didn't just damage the alien ship's exterior. They attacked its internal systems, causing cascading failures that left the vessel dead in space. 2 ships down. 1 remained. The final vessel was larger, more menacing. It carried the markings of a high-level diplomatic enforcement team. These weren't just hunters. They were official executioners. "They want something more than just killing the princess," Jay muttered. "They want to send a message." Arya felt a chill. She knew exactly what message they wanted to send. That no one, not even a royal diplomat, could challenge the current power structures. The final ship launched its most powerful weapon, a molecular disruptor capable of turning entire ships into dust. Normal shields would have been useless, but the Crimson Talon wasn't a normal ship. Chai activated an experimental quantum folding defense mechanism. The disruptor's energy was literally bent around the ship, redirected back towards its source. The attacking vessel suddenly found its own weapon turning against it. In less than 12 minutes, 3 advanced alien ships had been completely neutralized. Silence filled the Crimson Talon's bridge. Arya looked at the human crew. Jay with his calculated strategy, Hai with her technological brilliance, Seung with his precise execution. They weren't just fighters, they were problem solvers. "Why did you help me?" she finally asked. Jay turned, his eyes meeting hers. "Because someone has to," he said simply. Outside, the broken alien ships drifted like forgotten toys, a testament to human ingenuity and unexpected mercy. The Crimson Talon moved forward, carrying its unexpected passenger into the deep, mysterious universe. The Crimson Talon's common area felt different now. Princess Arya sat quietly, watching the human crew move with a strange combination of precision and casual ease. Seung cleaned his weapons with methodical care, while Hai worked on complex holographic displays. Jay brought a simple metal container and placed it on the table. "Coffee," he explained. "Human drink. Want to try?" Arya hesitated, then nodded. The dark liquid looked unremarkable, but nothing about humans was truly ordinary. Her first sip surprised her. Bitter, strong, complex. "Tell me about humans," she requested. Seung looked up, a slight smile crossing his face. He began sharing stories, not diplomatic speeches, but real human experiences. Stories of survival, stories of impossible challenges. He spoke of Earth's ancient wars where small groups overcame massive obstacles. He described how humans transformed difficult situations into opportunities, how they learned, adapted, survived. "We don't have the strongest bodies," Seung explained. "We don't have natural weapons, but we have something more powerful, the ability to change." Arya listened, fascinated. Her civilization valued pure technological power. Humans valued something different: creativity, adaptability. He joined the conversation, sharing a story about early space exploration. How humans reached the moon with technology less powerful than a modern communication device. How they crossed oceans in small wooden boats. How they survived extreme environments. "We are not the strongest," Jay added, "but we are the most determined." The princess realized these humans protected her not for money or political gain. They protected her because it was the right thing to do. Her own civilization would have calculated the political advantage. These humans acted on principle. A sudden alert interrupted their conversation. Multiple tracking signals appeared on the ship's sensors. Someone was still hunting them. "Incoming transmission," Hai announced. The message was encrypted but not like anything Arya had seen before. Human encryption was different, layered, complex, almost like a living puzzle. Shung began decoding, his fingers moving rapidly across holographic interfaces. Within minutes, he had extracted the full message. "They're sending diplomatic enforcement teams," he reported. "Multiple factions want you silenced." Arya felt fear rising. But the human crew seemed calm, almost excited. "Interesting challenge," Jay said, his eyes gleaming. The ship's systems began preparing, not just for defense but for something more strategic. They weren't running, they were preparing to fight back. Hai activated several complex scanning systems. "I'm tracking their communication networks," she explained. "We can predict their next moves." Shung was already preparing specialized weapons, not just destructive tools, but intelligent systems designed to disable without total destruction. "We have options," he said simply. Arya watched in amazement. Her own civilization would have prepared for total war. These humans prepared for strategic resolution. The tracking signals grew closer, but instead of panic, there was a sense of focused energy aboard the Crimson Talon. "We're not just protecting you," Jay told her. "We're solving a problem." Outside the ship's reinforced windows, stars continued their silent dance. Distant, beautiful, indifferent to the complex drama unfolding. The Crimson Talon moved forward, carrying its unexpected passenger. Not running, not hiding, preparing. The Orion cluster erupted in chaos. Massive ships from multiple alien civilizations converged, their combined firepower capable of destroying entire star systems. At the center of this cosmic storm sat the Crimson Talon, small, seemingly insignificant, but crackling with an energy that made veteran space commanders nervous. Princess Arya watched the tactical displays, her breath catching in her throat. "They're going to kill me," she whispered. Jay's hand touched a control panel. "Not today," he responded. The first wave of attacks came fast. Quantum disruption missiles that could tear molecular structures apart. Energy weapons that could melt through reinforced hull plating. Gravitational weapons designed to crush ships into microscopic debris. The Crimson Talon moved differently, not like a traditional warship but like a living creature. Adaptive, responsive, intelligent. Sung's fingers danced across weapon systems. Each missile he fired wasn't just a weapon, it was a precisely calculated solution. Some missiles carried electronic warfare packages. Others contained molecular disruptors. Some simply transmitted complex interference signals that confused enemy tracking systems. "Targeting primary enforcement vessels," he announced. Chai was simultaneously managing ship defenses and hacking alien communication networks. She didn't just block transmissions, she redirected them, created false signals, planted confusion. One by one, alien ships found their systems compromised. Navigation computers went crazy. Weapon systems turned against each other. Communication networks collapsed into chaos. The humans weren't just fighting, they were solving a complex problem. Arya watched in total amazement. Her civilization believed in overwhelming force. These humans believed in intelligent intervention. A massive diplomatic enforcement vessel approached, easily 10 times the size of the Crimson Talon. Its weapons could vaporize entire planetary settlements. Its shields were considered impenetrable. Jay didn't look worried. "Seung," he said calmly. "Option 3. Sung pressed a single button. The result was not an explosion, not a traditional weapon discharge. Instead, a complex signal spread across the massive ship's systems. It didn't destroy, it transformed. Critical systems began shutting down, not violently, systematically, like a precise surgical intervention. Within minutes, the massive enforcement vessel became a floating piece of metal, disabled, neutralized, completely non-functional. How? Arya asked, her voice a mixture of shock and wonder. We understand systems, Jay explained. Destruction is easy. Control is harder. The battle continued, but it wasn't a battle anymore. It was a demonstration. Alien civilizations watched in stunned silence as the small human ship methodically neutralized multiple advanced vessels. Not through brute force, through intelligence. Shung launched another wave of intelligent missiles. Each one carried a specific solution. Some disabled communication networks, some confused tracking systems, some simply transmitted complex interference signals. Chai continued her electronic warfare, turning the aliens' own technologies against them. She didn't just block signals, she reprogrammed them, created false narratives, spread calculated misinformation. Hours passed. What should have been a massive conflict became a precise, almost surgical intervention. As the last alien vessel powered down, complete silence filled the Crimson Talon's bridge. Arya looked at the human crew. They weren't celebrating. They weren't even particularly excited. They had simply solved a problem. We're not done, Jay said quietly. But we've made our point. Outside, the stars continued their silent dance. Distant. Indifferent. Watching. A small human ship that had just changed the balance of galactic power. The Crimson Talon moved forward, not as a weapon of war, but as a solution. The neutral space station hung like a metallic jewel against the dark canvas of space. Its multiple docking rings gleamed under artificial lighting, waiting for the Crimson Talon's arrival. Years of diplomatic tensions would be decided in these next few moments. Princess Arya stood beside Captain Jay, her blue skin slightly pale with anticipation. The evidence she carried could reshape galactic politics forever. Multiple alien civilizations would be exposed, their secret networks of corruption finally brought into light. Are you ready? Jay asked simply. She nodded. The docking procedure was smooth. Too smooth. As if the ship itself understood the importance of this moment. Seung and Hai prepared their technical documentation, not just reports, but comprehensive evidence packages that would withstand the most intense diplomatic scrutiny. Representatives from 12 different alien civilizations waited in the central conference chamber. Most looked suspicious. Some looked angry. A few looked terrified. Arya stepped forward. Her first presentation was clinical. Precise. She revealed communication logs showing how multiple diplomatic networks had conspired to eliminate her, how critical information about potential galactic threats had been systematically suppressed. The human crew sat quietly, not as bodyguards, but as witnesses. One by one, the alien representatives tried to challenge her evidence, but human technology had prepared for this. Each accusation was met with counter-evidence. Each challenge was neutralized with surgical precision. These humans helped me, Arya stated clearly. When my own civilization abandoned me, the room went silent. Shung placed additional data packages on the central display. Complex network analyses, communication tracking, evidence of systematic corruption that spread across multiple star systems. Chai's technical documentation was even more devastating. She had not just collected evidence. She had created a complete map of the corruption networks. Hours passed. What should have been a complex diplomatic nightmare became a systematic exposure of hidden truths. By the conference's end, 3 major diplomatic networks collapsed. Multiple high-ranking officials faced potential removal from their positions. The galactic political landscape had fundamentally changed. How did you do this? One senior diplomat asked Jay. We just told the truth, he responded simply. As they prepared to leave the station, something unexpected happened. Representatives from multiple alien civilizations approached the Crimson Talon's crew, not with hostility, but with respect. "We need people like you," one said. Arya watched as her rescuers became something more, not just protectors, not just warriors, but problem solvers. The Crimson Talon prepared to depart. Its mission was complete, but something had fundamentally changed. Jay looked at Arya. "What will you do now?" She smiled. A real smile. Something she hadn't done in years. "Rebuild," she said. The ship's engines hummed to life. Outside, stars continued their silent dance. Distant, beautiful. Watching a small human vessel that had just changed everything. Another journey was about to begin.